Beautiful creatures, I am back. Well, sort of. The month of October is hectically busy for me because this is my officially last month of this year of uni, and as part of my degree I am involved in a graduate exhibition. This is like a massive thing that the school puts on every year, and it's huge. You know, we have like 50 students in honours this year across disciplines, and it's absolutely massive the amount of work that goes into it. And loud birds, conveniently. Anyway, the exciting topic of today is zombie wisdom. So I don't know if you can see, but I've got my zombie shirt on and my green lipstick and my green fingernails, and the shirt actually says zombies make better boyfriends. Don't know how true that is, but if you've watched Warm Bodies, then maybe it is true. That guy's pretty attractive for a zombie. Anyway, so as you might have guessed, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what zombies can teach us in our spiritual practice. You know, if you're not into the grotesque and gore and this kind of stuff doesn't interest you, feel free to click off. I'm going to be talking about the zombie tarot as well and my experiences with it so far. So this isn't going to be a review as such, it's just more about spiritual path and how zombies have sort of helped me and my experience with zombie energy, if there is such a thing. So first of all, I'll get to the zombie tarot. So you guys have probably seen my unboxing of this video, and I was really excited to work with this deck. It has not disappointed me. If you follow me on Instagram, I've had a name change on Instagram, so this damn bird. Anyway, I'm no longer You Are Not a Victim. I've changed it to the Green Pixie, and that just feels right for me at this time and like my life. So I'm really happy with the name change. And I've been posting a shit ton of pictures of this deck and the spreads and stuff. I did the spread that's included in the book called The Severed Head, and it was just so on point about what I was going through in my life and what I'm going through at the moment with my last month of uni and all that sort of stuff. So I'll talk first about some of the cards that have been coming up for me, and as I show them to you, I'll sort of discuss how zombies have sort of played a role in enriching my spiritual life a little bit. So I did a really cute thing because I've never seen that movie Warm Bodies that I mentioned, and I watched it for the first time and I had my zombie tarot with me, so we watched a movie together. Let me know if I'm not the only weirdo that does this. Do you watch movies with your tarot too? Put it in the comments down below because I'd love to know. So I'll just tell you one of the ways that this deck is super on point and cuts straight to the chase and is a very no bullshit deck for me. So one afternoon I was sort of like, okay, I want to do an end of the day reflection card. I don't normally do them. If I do pull cards at nighttime, it's more of a reading. It's not a sort of reflection. But I've seen Kelly from The Truth in Story do it quite a few times, and I thought, hey, that's a nice idea. So I asked the zombie tarot, you know, sort of what is the end of my day, kind of what are the energies, what is the lesson that I need to really learn from this day. And the smart ass that it is, it gave me the World card. Now if you see the World card, it's literally depicting the end of days and like these guys hiding out safely in their little bunker there. But the message that I got from this card was like, it's the end of the day. That's it. That's your end of day reflection. It's the end of the day. Tomorrow will be a new day, but today it's the end of the day. And I was just like, thanks guys. Thank you. Thank you for that blunt and forthright message. They were just basically like, you don't do end of the day reflections, so what else do you need to know? It's the end of the freaking day. So that was funny. Little story that I've had with this deck. And yeah. So I wanted to move on to sort of what zombies can teach us. And I'm finding the Suit of Hazards, actually this one isn't, and neither is this, to be sort of really good for this. So the Suit of Hazards is Pentacles in normal tarot tradition. The rest of the stuff hasn't been changed, but Pentacles are hazards. So I've got these three cards here, which I've been drawing quite often lately. So the Two of Hazards, which is the Two of Pentacles, which is like a mastery and becoming in control of something, and sort of like finding a solution to a problem. As you can see, he's got the zombie on the lead here, so that's his creative solution to the problem, which is quite cool. And then another card that I got a few times in my daily readings was the Five of Hazards, and you know, this is sort of obviously someone who's experienced loss and is trying to scrounge for whatever she can. This is kind of like a very bleak apocalyptic view, and it's sort of, yeah, it's kind of like making do with what you have. And then the Seven of Hazards, which is like patience will come. He's doing all these experiments on this zombie in the laboratory and is kind of trying to figure out, I guess, a cure or a way to sort of unzombify them. And this card is, to me, it's about like things will come in their own time. So with the Suit of Hazards, that's been my most, like, what I've been drawing with this deck, and also what has really related to me in my everyday life, as Pentacles are sort of more that sort of elemental sign, I guess, being Earth and stuff like that. So that's kind of those cards and my little story with the world. And I've kind of lost my train of thought. Okay, no, it's back. So I've talked about the hazards and how that's sort of been really everyday, and how this deck in general for readings is really on point, and it clarifies the issues that you're going through, and it sort of says, okay, you're gonna be dragged. Like, I got this card, I was like, okay, crap. Like, you're gonna have zombies eating your leg, but you're going to persist. You're gonna go through it, and it's gonna be brutal and hard. Like, nobody's saying that it's not gonna be hard, but you're gonna get through it. And that's the sort of overreaching message that I think zombies have to teach us. I did like Warm Body's view of them as being able to be resurrected or brought back to life through love. I thought that was really cute. But this deck and my experience and the sort of general zombie myths play a little bit more to the shadow side. So in general, when working with this deck and thinking about what zombies have to offer us in a spiritual practice, I have no experience with voodoo and that tradition or any of that sort of zombie legends. I do know of them and I have read about them, but I'm definitely no expert on the matter, and I don't really view zombies like that. I view them as creatures that are sort of mankind's greatest fear of losing control and having our very base needs, our primitive sort of primal selves come to the surface, and that is what drives us the most is hunger. It's a hunger to keep going and a physical hunger. And then it also touches on all these ideas of cannibalism, which is hugely taboo in today's society. I recently watched another movie that dealt with this in a certain theme as well. It was called Snowpiercer. That's such a bizarre movie. I think I need to watch it again. It's got a lot of underlying themes and stuff in it that I feel like I missed the first time. Anyway, back on track. So, cannibalism, which is completely taboo in our society and is, you know, a criminal act, and you have these famous serial killers that, you know, committed cannibal stuff, and you've got the whole Hannibal Lecter character who was inspired by some of these real-life serial killers, although he's a much more refined character, I must say. I love Hannibal, the TV show, the books, the movies, everything. Anyway, so I'm actually like a really huge cannibal zombie fan, okay, because they can teach us that we don't need to be afraid of this part of ourselves. This is mankind at its most sort of twisted and fucked up, okay? It's us losing the faculty of communication to one another so that all we can do is survive. And it's a warning as well. Sorry, excuse me. I don't have any water and my throat is being strange. Okay, so it's a warning as well. A lot of these like images depicted in the zombie tarot are basically because man has done some crap and there has been some nuclear fallout, and because of that, radiation poisoning, we've turned the vast majority of ourselves into zombies. So that's the other thing. You've got these movies and games like Resident Evil, you know, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, all that sort of stuff, Walking Dead TV show. And it's sort of this massive fear that we have against biological weaponry and technological advancement. Like, as much as we are for progress and progression through science, we are actually deeply afraid of what we can accomplish. And I think rightly so, because at the moment we have a huge, like, we sort of have these scientists sort of playing God, if you will, and inventing all these different things. But their sort of creations and their ego is totally not tempered by moral sort of ramifications, right? So when you have that sort of moral ego-driven science and research, no wonder we have fears of zombies. No wonder we have fears of biohazardous chemicals and stuff affecting people. I mean, it's happened. Just look at the nuclear war. Look at Hiroshima. Look at all the genetic defects and stuff that happened not only in human, like people that were affected by it for generations, but also the land and the earth and the plants and everything. Everything was affected by it, you know. And even in more recent instances with nuclear power and stuff like that. So it's a very real and very sort of down to earth. It touches on our deep fears of these kind of massive global issues. It's like humankind, we only have very small number of people in power to control a vast population on this earth. And because of that, those people have enormous ego, or at least that's how I see it. And I just feel like we need to be aware of that. And yeah, I think zombies and zombies in popular culture especially is the way that people are getting around to seeing these issues. And so when there's a deck like this created, like the Zombie Tarot, I feel like it's not just a gimmicky thing. I think there is a certain sort of kitsch or gimmicky aspect to zombies now because they are in popular culture, but there is also that serious side to them. So I do take this deck very seriously, and because of that, I think that's why it gives me such straightforward and upfront answers. It's also a lot of fun to work with because of that pop culture element. It's like, these are things, this is sort of imagery that you can relate to. Like, I'm just pulling the Seven of Swords now. You know, it's just kind of like, you've seen the 50s sort of style artwork and you've seen it juxtaposed. Like, there's another thing coming up which is like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I've read that book. It's awesome. The only way it got me to read Jane Austen. She is not my favorite author at all. You know, there's a humorous aspect. And the author, when she talks about these little zombie children, which kind of creeped me out to begin with, she was like, no, this guy's cute. Like, don't you see the cuteness in it? There's a cute aspect to it. And so even that was pretty good, you know? It's like zombies make us confront what it is to be human, I think, in a very, like, sort of deep and very sort of real way. It sort of confronts our ego and our primitive selves, and it kind of tells us, like, you can kill the zombie, okay? This mindless creature that now is its only driven purpose is to survive, and by surviving, it has to kill other human beings. Or, you know, you can be the zombie, the mindless creature that strives to kill other human beings. But what really is the difference between us and the zombie? It's like, given the choice, mankind has created so many wars and so many sort of ways to kill each other that it's like, what's worse? Is it the zombie that actually just does this because that is their only instinct, or is it mankind who makes a whole calculated choice about this kill? And it has, you know, we have a sort of moral viewpoint that totally gets overlooked when issues like this happen. It's like, there are so many wars and horrible things going on in the world today that it kind of reflect really on that sort of ego-driven world that we live in. So I didn't want to really ramble too much about this, but I kind of have gone on a bit of a rant about how I think we're destroying the earth, which is true. But the zombies bring it out in me, what can I say? Now, I'd like to get onto a few of the lighthearted aspects of zombies. Okay, so we've got like popular culture zombies like Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that, which if you haven't watched, you should watch, which is hilarious. And it shows like one of those cards I pulled out, the sort of living in harmony with zombies. Warm Bodies, which is actually a really lovely, cute, romantic film where the zombie boyfriend is brought back to life through love, you know, and zombies are actually brought back to life through love. Now, not all of them were brought back to life. There were the others that were too far gone, and they were actually attacking both zombies and humans. But, you know, there was just like, this sort of humorous, funny, light-hearted way of seeing zombies as like, okay, they are what they are, we are what we are, let's all get along and sort of function in this world. Which is really a cute way of looking at it, I think. So, I think that was about it. I mean, I don't know if I really touched on zombies in a spiritual path. I think I sort of did. But I guess I'll have one more thing to say on that matter. Is that, you know, don't discount decks like this, like the Zombie Tarot and the Housewives Tarot and themed decks. If you feel driven to work with them, then they have a lot to offer us. They have a lot to teach us as well. I was previously working with the Shapeshifters Tarot, and I didn't really feel like it was time to be working with that deck, and I was very called to use this, and I don't regret it. You know, popular culture in general, it has a lot to talk about because it is of our current society, of our contemporary society. So using it in your spiritual path is not a detrimental thing, I don't think, as long as you're consciously aware. Like, that's the big thing, is like contemporary society is so full of ego that are we actually consciously aware that it is that way, and how do we learn from it, kind of thing. It's like a huge deal in arts today, just in general, and a huge deal in, I think, just like, yeah, just in general. So yeah, that was the other thing. It's like, don't be afraid to use decks like this. The imagery is confronting sometimes, it really is. But it hits you in the way that you're like, oh shit, yeah, okay, I see. Like that guy getting his leg, like, eaten as he has to crawl away. Like, you really get the message. It's like, you're gonna get through this. This is you surviving, okay? And stuff like that. It tells you in a no bullshit way that, you know, you have a choice, and certain things can happen in your life, and you can get through them. And it's not all sunshines and rainbows and buttercups, you know. Sometimes it's the blood and the guts and the bones and all of that kind of crap that you have to just slug yourself through to get through it. And sometimes it's the primal urge. Sometimes it's the, you know, almost like cannibalistic sort of urge to just consume and keep going. Like when zombies get turned, when people feel themselves turning into zombies, they are so afraid of becoming like that primal energy, and then when it happens, it's like, nup, and they just go and launch themselves at the nearest person. So it's like, it's that kind of fear that you can confront with decks like this. It's that kind of like, am I afraid of letting go so much, of fear of losing control? It's like, and why is that? I think that that's one of the things that zombies have to teach us. It's like, are we so afraid of losing control in today's age that everything is super egotistic and super driven by ego, that, you know, it's totally caused an imbalance in the world, you know? That's one of the big spiritual teachings of zombies that I feel. Anyway, I have rabbited on enough about this. I can't promise any videos in the very near future, but we'll see how I go with my schedule. Wish me luck, guys, for my end of year crap. I'll be posting some images of my work on Instagram, no doubt. If you're interested in seeing that. As I said before, I'm a photography major doing honours in a Bachelor of Fine Arts. So yeah, that's all pretty hectic at the moment, but I thought I would give a little zombie wisdom chat, and I totally want to open this up to discussion as well. Like, if you have this deck and you've worked with it, what are your experiences? Do you agree with me about the sort of things that zombies can teach us? Do you feel like there's a place for zombies in your spiritual practice, you know? Welcome them with an open heart. That's what I say. Because they've got a lot to teach us, and like, I've definitely been considering things in a different light since using this deck, and myself and my sort of my needs. I don't really read for clients. Sometimes I'll go on Tumblr and I'll offer some free readings. I'm not really so into becoming a professional reader just yet. I have too many things on my plate really for me to feel like I can focus on other people's path. So at the moment I'm just developing myself to get to a point where I feel like I can open it out to other people. But yeah, let me know your experiences. What did you think about this video? I know I rabbited on and probably repeated myself 1,000 times, but that's kind of how I am. I just like to speak off the cuff, so that's kind of why I repeat myself, I guess. So I just wanted to say hello, and I am back for a short while, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!